710 ESPN, Dave Dameshek. It's a little song from Teen Wolf. It's a master. It's a masterfully executed song. A great montage of the big game when Teen Wolf, a.k.a. Michael J. Fox, is playing in the championship game. But he decides not to be the Wolf for the big game there. Yes, Digley.
Can I just say, since I had to listen to the entirety of the 4 minutes of this wonderful rhapsody that we had to put in today, this, lyrically speaking, as a burgeoning singer-songwriter myself, this is possibly the most ridiculous lyrics I've ever heard. There's a line in there where I can change the pattern. I'm going to steal a ring from Saturn and forge myself into a sword. That's quality right there.
Yeah, I agree.
He just stole my thunder. I was going to talk about the lyrics for like 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. Oh, man.
I was going to extremes, losing sight of all my dreams again. I never thought I'd win.
The sports guy, Bill Simmons,
How about
joining
this?
us here. What?
Wait, who sang that song?
Oh, I don't know. I don't recognize this 80s master.
Joe Esposito gets all the credit for You're the Best, but nobody remembers Mark Safin, who wrote Win in the End.
Win in the End, yeah, versus Esposito's masterpiece from Karate Kid at the All Valley
I'll
tournament.
tell you this, the trilogy for me is Win in the End, You're the Best, and then Winner Takes It All by Sammy Hagar and Over the Top.
That's a great one too, and I'll tell you, where you're chock full of songs because the entire movie is pretty much a music video is Rocky IV. Rocky IV has a lot of great inspirational
Vision Quest
numbers.
Too. Vision Quest has a couple.
All right, well, let's talk. We're talking to the sports guy, Bill Simmons, here. Very nice of him to join us in front of what could be one of the worst nights of his sports fanship in history. The Celtics are going to be playing the mighty Hawks in just about 25 minutes here. So, he's pacing about nervously. But, listen, let's talk about some Teen Wolf here. That'll put you in good spirits. All right, so first of all, this is one of your all-time favorites. You've written columns about it. Your overall thoughts on the picture?
Well, it's one of those questions. Is it a sports movie or is it not a sports movie? I would argue that it actually was a sports movie. Other people would argue that maybe it's a werewolf movie. But I think we could all agree it was magical.
Yes, that much, yeah. On that count, at least, yeah.
And, for me, the key and the thing that brings me back every time is Michael J. Fox playing point guard, not as the Wolf, but when he decides not to be the Wolf at the end. 5'3", doesn't look up when he dribbles, and somehow turns into John Stockton in this game. They come back from like 30 down, and the team is so bad that I think they only have like 4 highlights that they show. They just loop them. It's like the same layup and the same steal and the same one jumper because I think they missed every other shot when they were filming this.
It is great, yeah. This first of all, so the premise of the picture is that Michael J. Fox is a wolf, obviously, and it runs in the family, I guess, and everything. But what makes it preposterous ultimately is that, like you say, he decides to set aside his teen wolf thing, his wolf identity that allows him to dunk the basketball all the time and just be his average self, which is pathetic. He can't dribble. By the way, you watch the picture. The guys his team, I don't want to spoil the ending for anybody. He's on the Beavers and they're playing in the championship game against the Dragons there. And by the way, the Dragons, the mean guy who dates the good-looking broad who Michael J. Fox almost dates, and he ultimately goes back to Boof.
He's about 40. That guy, and also is allowed to stand underneath the basket for the game-winning free throws. I've never seen that in a game before.
We'll get to that. But he's such a bad boy. Yeah. First of all, he plays the point on the other team, but he's the tallest guy on the team, which is a strange move by that coach. And,
he was a player coach. He was 40.
Well, speaking of Michael J. Fox's coach, Coach Bobby Finstock kind of steals the picture, right?
Yes, no question. Supporting actor, not nominated, but in our hearts.
All right, so Teen Wolf is having trouble. He's struggling with the idea that he keeps turning into a wolf. He doesn't know what to make of it. So he turns to his coach, Bobby, to get some advice on it, and here's what Bobby tells him.
Let me give you a little advice. There's 3 rules that I live by. Never get less than 12 hours sleep. Never play cards with a guy who's got the same first name as a city. And never go near a lady who's got a tattoo of a dagger on her body. Now, you stick with that. Everything else is cream cheese.
Look, there's never been better advice ever in a movie, in my opinion. I mean, seriously, you could live your life by those 3 things.
Yeah, but Coach Finstock must have been outraged when Michael J. Fox says, "Yeah, I'm not being the wolf in the game here."
Yeah, it was a setback. But that team had some trouble. They had a power forward who weighed 310 pounds.
Yeah, Chubby, who also is he's Pee-wee from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He's the guy who steals Pee-wee's bike too.
And also the gay guy from Melrose Place who ended up on
That's right.
on Desperate Housewives, kind of the key to the team, and was able to sublimate his offense for the Wolf.
Unsung, that's exactly right.
Scottie Pippen type.
I took some stats down, first of all. So they get to the championship game. They get there only because Michael J. Fox, when he's the Wolf, is unstoppable.
Thanks, Coach.
I compared him once in a column, too. He plays actually like how Baron Davis plays when Baron Davis is, like, completely on fire. Like, just he can dunk, he can shoot threes, he can drive in traffic, he can really do anything.
But I haven't seen hang time like that since the Phoenix Suns gorilla. I mean, he can really throw it down there. And so they play in the title game here. And the other part of the picture is that what's a strange thing in the movie, not the basketball side of it, but his love triangle. There's a foxy girl who suddenly likes him when he becomes the Teen Wolf, and then Boof is his lady friend. Cleveland Indian fans are familiar now with Boof's resurgence out on the hump now, but Boof is the girl, his childhood friend that he grew up with. And but my question is, aren't both these broads kind of hard up? They want to date a wolf, a guy who's it seems pathetic, right?
It's a little shaky. The weird thing about Boof was that this was an era of 80s movies where over and over again you saw the guy was in love with the hot girl in his class, but his female friend who was secretly hot, but he never realized it for some reason till the last 20 minutes of the movie, and then he'd end up with her in the end. That was like 20 plots from like 1983 to 86. This was the one time where the friend wasn't really that hot, and that's why he didn't realize it.
That's exactly right. It goes along with the theme that we were discussing as far as Clemens. I don't begrudge him going to another woman. I begrudge him trading down, and that's exactly what Michael J. Fox does here. It
was a huge, huge trade down, and frankly, I don't think it worked out.
No.
There's a Teen Wolf. Well, there was a Teen Wolf too. We're not going to talk about that, but I think deep down the Wolf regrets not ending up with the blonde, who is, by the way, very hot.
Yes, she was
and never
very
seen
foxy.
Again.
Yeah,
never seen again.
And neither was Boof. That's exactly right. They both fell off the planet after making this gem. And you know what? I respect that. It's sort of like what's her name, who played Elaine in The Graduate and was in Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. What was her name? The actress, very foxy woman. I can't think of her name, but she pretty much disappears after that. And why press on? You've made two great pictures. Well, you're not going to do better than that. And same thing with these girls in Teen Wolf.
I think one of the incredible things about this movie is that I actually saw this in the theater, and people didn't totally question the plot at the time. It was definitely it was definitely a little far-fetched, but nobody had a real problem with the whole guy vacillating between being a werewolf and being a normal person and playing on a basketball team.
But I understand that he's a lot of fun. He dances well or whatever, and he gets really funny, and he can dunk a basketball. That's great to hang out with that guy. But I don't understand the two broads are like, I got to have him. He's a wolf. He's a disgusting hairball. I got to have my way with him.
Dave, I think it was a commentary on the jocular culture in high school and how the big man on campus thing. I don't know. I'm trying to
Actually, you do make sense. All right, but the championship game, I've done some quick stat line on it. Michael J. Fox had a pretty nice stat. I didn't see the entire game, but from what I've been able to watch of it in montage and in the climactic final 8 seconds of the game, he goes for 15 points, 6 of 7 from the floor. He's shooting it from the perimeter. This is prior to the three-point line, of course, but 6 of 7 from the floor, 3 for 3 from the line, including those final 2 free throws, 2 steals, 6 assists, and Chubby has a pretty nice game too, except for, here's the problem with both these guys. They travel every time they touch the ball, and that's why I think that the referee in the game deserves some credit as far as the Beavers are concerned. It must have been Tim Donaghy and must have been on the take or something. It's the only thing I can think of. They travel constantly in the game.
Well, you're right. They didn't show all the scoring plays, but I think it's safe to say Fox ends up with a triple-double.
Oh, yeah.
Whether there's any question. Something like, 20, 17 assists, 10 rebounds, like a Chris Paul type of line.
I don't want to be a curmudgeon about it because Michael J. Fox ultimately wins the game for his team. But I have to say he puts them in a tough spot with less than 2 minutes to go. I don't know if you catch this. He makes a habit in the big comeback of he jumps on every teammate who makes a basket.
Right.
He hugs them, and the game is going on. And with less than 2 minutes to go, I think it's Chubby who makes a hoop, and he jumps into his arms, and in the meantime, the Dragons, the other team, just beats him down the floor because he's in the arms of the other guy, and he costs his team a basket, putting them down 7 with less than 2 minutes to go. I don't know if that's MVP behavior.
Well, I don't think what he wasn't anticipating was that they would loop the highlight of the one layup that the Dragons made right after he jumped on the guy. It was the same layup that they showed 8 times from 8 different angles.
It is great. We see the Michael J. Fox behind the back pass that if you said, hey, to your little 5-year-old kid, hey, here's how you throw the ball behind your back, that's how deliberate and awkward looking it would be. But they show he makes that play apparently 3 times in the same game.
It goes to show you how crazy the whole movie-making business is, that they would have this script, which I agree the movie should have been made, and I loved it. But the fact that they built the lead character around a 5'3" Canadian guy is incredible. Like, out of all the choices they had in 1985, like Kirk Cameron really couldn't have played Teen Wolf.
All right, so listen, Michael J. Fox is on Family Ties at the time, and I guess that's right around the time of Back to the Future. I don't mind, fine, so you want to put this star in the picture, but the rest of the guys on the team, how about the other team that they're playing? The bad guy has like 3 lines the whole movie. They couldn't have gotten a guy, they couldn't have gotten Jimmy Chitwood to play that role or something? Somebody who looks like he can shoot a basket?
Well, also, this was right on the heels of Porky's 2, which had a prolonged and agonizing basketball scene that included the guy who played Meat at power forward.
Sure, right.
Who I don't think had ever touched a basketball before the filming. Like, he was handling it like it was a live grenade, and he was allegedly as a star of the team. So it was a tough era for basketball.
You know what? Remember when NFL Films about 10 years ago did that? They did the dream matchups, and they did it to video. I wonder if somebody could do that. The Porky's 2 team versus the Beavers. That would be a matchup for the ages.
Porky's 2 had not only Meat, but it had Pee-wee playing point guard. I would put that team against anybody as the worst team ever assembled in Hollywood history.
Including Chubby and Michael J. Fox at the point there. I don't know who would win that one.
At least Michael J. Fox had the capacity to turn into a werewolf.
That's true. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
They always had that card, and they also had Coach Fenstock, who was really the Greg Popovich of his time.
And the other thing,
Thanks, Coach.
The other thing that was great, too, is Michael J. Fox taking that little girly leap when he shoots his free throws.
You neglected maybe one of the all-time glitches that I didn't even know about for like 20 years. But after they win, and he walks past the blonde chick and ends up with Boof, and they hug, and then they show the wide shot of people celebrating. There's a part where they show a guy getting up and jumping up a fan, and his pants aren't buckled. And his pants actually fall, and you can see the whole thing. His pants are falling down to his knees, and he panics and is trying to pull them up, and that's in the movie. Somehow they never cut that out. So you look for that in Teen Wolf next time you watch
that's great.
it.
I love in Braveheart when they're finishing the battle. Mel Gibson is finishing one of his great catastrophic battles out in the field.
Yeah.
And you can see if you look in the background, guys are sort of like the extras are kind of like, are we supposed to keep going? You can see them saying that to each other. Two guys who are fighting to the death are kind of like, they just are kind of waving their swords at each other, saying, like, are we done shooting here? It looks like they're, I guess we should keep going. It's great to watch that.
48 Hours is a good one where Reggie Hammond gets out of jail, Eddie Murphy, and he's in handcuffs, and then he gets in the blue convertible and they're driving around, but his arm is out of the car the entire time they're driving, and then it cuts back, he's in handcuffs. I love movie glitches.
Well, so you mentioned earlier what the best thing, my very favorite thing in Teen Wolf is that the bad boy on the Dragons, the guy who is the arch nemesis of Michael J. Fox, is so bad that not even the referees will tell him you can't stand right under the basket while the game deciding free throws are being shot.
Yeah. It's never happened before or since, not only in Hollywood, but maybe in any form of basketball. Like if that was in a pickup game, you wouldn't do that.
I would love. What if that happens tonight? What if Josh Smith, KG, is at the line and to win the game, and Josh Smith just stands directly under the hoop? No, Zaza. That's who would have to stand under there.
Here's how you decide the sports movie argument. In my opinion, it's not officially a sports. It's either a comedy or if it's a real sports movie, there has to be a chill scene. There has to be a scene that gives you goosebumps, and And I don't know if Teen Wolf quite has the goosebump scene, which is almost why I think you can make the case it's a werewolf movie.
It's interesting,
basketball.
but there's enough basketball in there to analyze. Yeah, but I like your thing about Porky's too versus Teen Wolf. What a game that would be! That would be a 4-2 final, kind of like in JV 6th grade basketball. Those scores that are like, hey, that guy is awesome. We're gonna have a hard time beating them, and then the score, and you look back and it was the final score was 10-4.
Right. I will say though about Teen Wolf, like you can kill it, you can like it, whatever, but the best thing you could say about a movie like that is, would it make for a good TV series or not? Like, you look at like Hoosiers. Hoosiers is a great movie, one of the all-time greats. And also, if they had made that a TV series, it would also have been a good TV series.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd watch a Teen Wolf TV series.
Well, guess what? You know what? I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to track it down for Christmas for you then or something. There was an animated Teen Wolf series.
Really?
That's right. But listen, I don't want you to look for it any further. I'm going to see if I can track this thing down.
But I think with the technology and the CGI they have now,
yeah,
I think America could fall in love with the Teen Wolf.
That
TV
would
series.
be fun, and yeah, that's, by the way, a little another thing to have fun with watching Teen Wolf is the transformation scene. It is some of the worst special effects in the world. It really, when he turns into the wolf for the first time, and then his father is on the other side of the door. He's also a wolf, it turns out.
Well, there's always a question in werewolf movies of where did the hair go when they turn back.
That's a good question. Well, same thing as with the Incredible Hulk coming out this year. Where do his tattered shreds of clothing go?
Right.
He always has the purple pants. He really a fixation with purple pants on the Incredible Hulk. Why doesn't he get some other colors?
I love that they're making another Incredible Hulk movie 5 years after they just made one.
Yeah, well,
Bizarre.
that's a weird move. All right, listen, the sports guy, Bill Simmons, you got 10 minutes until your Celtics tip off against the Mighty Hawks. Thanks for the time, and best wishes to you in this very important game.
Dave, I appreciate it. Best of luck to you and Mr. Dick Banks.
All right, all the best. There he goes, the sports guy, Bill Simmons. Check him out on ESPN.com, page 2, ESPN the magazine. Now you see him all over the TV, E60, always doing pieces for them, too.